Look at a junior cert higher level question. It's permutations, which is comes under counting, and patterns. It's from 2015. It's a very standard question where we have a thing called the fundamental principle of counting. And it says if event A can be done in M ways and event B in N ways, the outcomes of both of them happening would be M multiplied by N. So, for example, if we have a menu here, which is a very common question that they'll ask, and with 3 starters, and with 5 mains, sorry, my apologies, with 4 starters, with 5 mains, and with 3 desserts, the question will ask to calculate the number of 3-course dinners. So for example, you could have soup, pizza, cheesecake, soup, pizza, chocolate cake, soup, pizza, ice cream, and you can go through that whole method if you want, but generally candidates or students will make a mistake somewhere along the line. The easiest and fastest way to do it is just take the outcomes 4, 5 and 3 and you multiply them, because that's what the fundamental principle of counting tells us to do. That's 60. You do that in your head or you can calculate it. You'll get 60. Okay. The next question there, the restaurant, there's a circular poster for each course represented by sectors of equal squares. So for starters, for example, we've seen up above that we've 4 starters. So they've taken 360 degrees, because that's the number of degrees in a circle, and they've divided it by 4, which gives me 90 degrees. So each of those will be 90 degrees. And they've asked me to do that for the main course and the desserts. And we have circles up here pre-made. Well, we know for the main course that we have 5. So we'd have to divide it by 5, and that'll give us 72 degrees. And for the desserts, we only have 3 in this case. So we'll divide that by 3, and that'll give us 120. Some of the marks will go for that, 2 out of 5 maybe for the calculations, and then the rest of it will be for your protractor work. You take a line there, and you're going to split that up into 72, something like that, where each of those sectors there is 72 degrees. I'll not spend too long doing it because I don't have a protractor on this whiteboard. The 120 then, probably more straightforward. It's your Mercedes-Benz symbol, where each of those sectors there is 120. Okay. Part C then, the owner of the restaurant wants to increase the number of 3-course dinners that can be ordered, and they'll either add 1 starter, 1 main, or 1 dessert to the menu. Which should they do? What should she do in order to increase the number? Well, currently we have 4 by 5 by 3. If we were to add 1 to the desserts, to the starters, my apologies, we'd have 5 by 5 by 3. That's one option. Or we might add 1 to the main courses, which would give me 4 by 6 by 3. Or we could add 1 just to the desserts, which would be 4 by 5 by 4. Okay. All I've done is add 1, I call this A, B, and C. I've added 1 onto A there to give me 5, 1 onto B to give me the 6, and 1 onto C to give me that 4. That's all I've done. Multiply them. That's going to be 75. That's 72. And that's 80. So clearly you can see that the biggest amount of 3-course meals that's possible if I increase the number of desserts. So my answer is desserts. I wouldn't write C as the answer. I wouldn't write 80 as the answer. My answer is desserts. And the reason being that when you add 1 onto the desserts, it gives you the biggest number.